Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing and sharing my previous videos. And sorry for the break, but I'm back right now. Yeah, so in today's video, if you've noticed, I've been doing a series of reproductive health and infertility. And today we're going to talk about fibroids, and I have my friend with me. She's a fellow pharmacist. She's called Dr. Triza. Dr. Triza, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and she's also going to share her journey, so that you also see that even doctors go through this, and you're not alone. Welcome, Dr. Triza.
Thank you for having me. Hi guys. July is the month of fibroids awareness, so we just thought we could come share with you. I share with you my story. This might touch someone out there, because I came to realize that fibroids is like a hidden pandemic among women, and most people suffer in silence. So I hope this helps someone out there.
Yeah, so if you hear someone saying like, I have fibroids, I have like, my sister has fibroids, my auntie has fibroids, what do they actually mean? Yeah, so by fibroids I mean these are just small non-cancerous growth that usually grow in the uterus of a lady within the reproductive age. So if you've already started your menses and in between your menopause, so that age bracket, we are like most ladies are usually predisposed to having fibroids. So they're just small growths and they're non-cancerous, and that means that they do not necessarily mean that you will get cancer in the final end. So she can tell us about a bit of her experience and how she just realized that she has fibroids, what led her to know that, hey, I'm actually suffering from fibroids.
Thank you. So Dr. Linda, around a year and a half ago, we were driving back into Nairobi. We were from the holidays. It was after Christmas, and suddenly I noticed like the urge to use the bathroom. I felt like my bladder was really full. So I had to stop the car and use the bathroom. But what really shocked me is when I went to the bathroom, there was no urine at all. So I found it shocking, but I thought it's just a coincidence. So after that, this happened like 4 times along the way. So we had to stop like every 30 minutes. We had to stop. I used the bathroom. Just like a little drop that comes, but you feel like you are really pressed. That little drop comes. So luckily by then I was working at the hospital, and the next morning I decided to go and do lab tests. I thought it was, I just thought it's like I should do a urine test, blood test, and all this came negative. There was nothing wrong with me. So like most people, I just ignored it. And like a week or 2 later, the symptoms came back again. So a friend of mine, a colleague actually, I told her what was going on, and I went to consult with one of the doctors who, after explaining everything, she wrote a report for me to do a pelvic exam. Then to my surprise, I really didn't think, the sonographer told me I had multiple fibroids, just like that. And for a moment, I could not even move. I was just lying there because I never thought it can happen to me. It was at the most expected time. I was only 28. I had just turned 28 at that time. So I never thought it would happen to me.
So did you have any other symptom, or it was just that feeling of like just going to the toilet and nothing comes out, or what else used to happen?
That was a major feeling, but then I started feeling like really heavy in my uterus. Actually, I thought I was gaining weight, so I started exercising, but everywhere else would go reduce, but my stomach would remain big. Yes. So when I saw the sonographer, she did for me a report. The first time I did the report, they were measuring 4 centimeters. They were small, but the biggest was 4 centimeters. And I quickly made an appointment with the gynecologist. He explained that they were quite small, and that I should just live my life normally, nothing, and make sure I go to the hospital every 6 months or 1 year just to monitor the growth of the fibroids, right?
And how has it been for you during your menses? Do you usually have like heavy periods and pain and all? Can you just
you know, the funny thing about in my case, and everyone has a different story. I never noticed anything was wrong with me, and when it happened, it all happened at once. So that's when I started noticing my periods were very heavy and with big clots. Yeah, there was a lot of clots, and the pain in my periods was like very different. I had to get tramadol injections for the pain to stop, or just it's the only thing that used to work to me. So it's not the normal period where you put like a hot pad and
you take paracetamol and that's it.
So the pain gets very intense. So when after seeing the doctor, he assured me everything was okay. So I went on living my life, but I could not maybe go out and hang out with my friends, because just drinking like juice, I would feel like I need to use the bathroom after 30 minutes. I would take like 2-3 sips, and then I'm just like, so it was uncomfortable to be in public places. If I went to a new place, I would be worried if I can't find a bathroom around, because so it really affects your social life. Yes. So around 6 months afterwards, I woke up and I could not move. There was like this pain, like keeping me from getting up. So I remember at one point I had to crawl so that I could get my phone, and then I just called for an Uber. And the Uber guy was kind enough, he helped me, and then we went to the nearest hospital. It was more of a clinic, so there's nothing much they could do. But so I knew tramadol worked for me, so I told them to just inject me tramadol. Then I immediately called my first gynecologist and then made an appointment. So when I went to see him, he ordered another pelvic scan, but this time the thing said that moved from 3.5 to 6 centimeters within a matter of 5-6 months. So he just looked at me and told me, you need a surgery, just like that.
Just like that?
You
like
need a surgery.
No preparation,
there's nothing. Imagine waking up and by 12 o'clock being told you need a surgery urgently. Yes. So
how was your reaction after that, and how was your mental health after being told
it's shocking?
Surgery?
I just walked out of work. I didn't even tell anyone I was leaving. I just came home. The thing is, I never spoke to anyone about this even the first time, because I didn't think it was a big deal. So I just walked home, and there's always this thing that gets second, third, fourth, fifth opinion. So luckily for like someone like me and you, we are exposed to a lot of doctors, and we are in the health field. But some people out there probably don't know, don't have this like kind of help. So I called another gynecologist, made an appointment. He told me the same thing, you need a surgery. I went to the third gynecologist. He ordered for an MRI, but when I did the MRI, the things were now 10 centimeters within a month.
From 6 to 10?
So he told me, the more you waste time, my fibroids were at the lining of the uterus, the intramural ones. So he told me, the more you waste time, the more bad it can get, and even if you try to get kids right now, you will definitely have a miscarriage. So I think that also relates to the infertility part.
That is how it comes about.
So I decided to tell my family about it at that stage, and that's when my sister had heard of friends who had the same issue. So she spoke to some friends who said the surgery was okay, but you see, mentally all this was moving so fast. This is like you're looking at like 6 months or less, and like so much is changing in your life. So I spoke to my family. They were supportive, and my cousin, he's a Dr. Brian. One day he just sent me a list of doctors to contact, and I was still not ready. Every day he would call me and ask me, have you contacted any doctor for the surgery? I just told him, I'm not ready. It took me 2 weeks. I would just wake up in the house and the whole thought of just doing surgery at my age.
Yeah, at your age. In fact, you're so young and the thought of like going under surgery at your age.
So during the 2 weeks I did my research, I saw that there are 3 ways to go about it. There's the laparoscopic way, there is the myomectomy, and there is the hysterectomy, which basically removes your uterus. And so I thought I could do laparoscopic because it's less invasive and the healing time is short. So I actually got the courage to call the doctors. The first doctor I called was out of town. The second one I called was available, and he told me, come on Friday, I can meet you on Tuesday. And so I went with my brother, he's Dr. Lydia, he's at Alekana. So I went with my cousin, and the doctor really made me feel like he was into big baby. He's the doctor who finally did the surgery, but I think the reason that I chose him, not like the other doctors, that's so sad, is that he didn't tell the fact that I'm a doctor. He explained it to me like he explained my options and why surgery was important, and if I needed to have kids in future, I had to do it. So, in your mind, you're just like, someone is going to touch me. You've never had kids and you're thinking of this. It's not scary. Yeah. So, he assured me everything will be okay. But what really got me was, I asked him, so when can you do the surgery? And he just said, let's do it next week. So he said, yeah, I told you, are you not going to give me a child? Yeah. And he said, no, the sooner you do it, the better for you. Yeah. So I gave him my details, I applied and everything. Yeah. And 1 week later, I checked myself in the hospital. Yeah.
So how was that process of checking yourself in the hospital and admitting that I'm going for a surgery? Yeah.
That was okay because by then you're busy, you're checking in.
Okay.
My family is taking me to the hospital and it's okay. The problem comes when everyone leaves you and you're lying on that bed, and you are told eat now because after this you're not going to have to eat any like hard solid foods. Yeah. And I thought that was also okay. The problem is when you wake up the next morning, my surgery was at 6 o'clock. So I didn't sleep for the better part of the night. Yeah. So at 6 o'clock, they come and you have to do the consent. I remember like literally shaking. I was being given a pen and it was dropping down. Yeah, I was really scared. But yeah, then I was taken to the theater and I thought they were going to put for me
anesthesia,
a partial anesthesia whereby maybe I can see. But
it was general.
Said it was And when I was still asking the doctor, I thought that's it.
Then that's it.
Yeah.
You're like gone.
Yeah. Wow. Then you wake up and there's like this big pain and the patch. I woke up after I think 4 hours.
What?
Yeah.
4 hours post-surgery, like recovery, it took 4 hours to fully recover.
After the surgery, you wake up, there was a nurse monitoring me. So I just woke up and it's like you see on TV. Hi, how are you feeling?
Like in the movies,
So I think I was taken back to my ward. But I think the most challenging thing is afterwards, I could not walk. I was thinking, but I came here walking, but now I need people to support me. But the more painful part is you're told you have to walk within 8 hours after the surgery. And so I had to walk like this, and it's
painful.
For me, it was really, really painful. So I walk and support myself, but then you have to do it they say so that your bones don't get lazy. You have to your body knows you still need to walk. Yeah, so I was admitted for 1 week, and then after 1 week I went home. I had full care. like bring this, bring
Oh,
that. 'Cause I
everyone
could
is
not
now
move,
anti-discussive,
but
yeah.
at least I used to try once a day to walk, maybe go down the stairs and come
come
up.
back.
Yeah, so after I think 3 weeks I was okay. The wound was painful,
Yeah,
but yeah, it gets better.
it gets better.
The only problem is, in my case, I think I left the house so soon.
Yeah.
So the only thing is, nowadays I feel pain when I bend, or when I'm carrying something heavy, or when I like really go up the stairs really fast. So there is still like that effect on your back,
Oh, that effect on the
which I was told is to be expected anyway. Yeah. But yeah, the symptoms feel better. I no longer get pressed,
Yeah.
and my periods are back
Oh,
very,
your
very
periods are
normal.
back very well?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, fine. Yeah, so you mentioned that you used to have heavy bleeding and all. Did you have episodes of anemia, and were you treated for that, or how did it just?
Luckily for me, no, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't
I
have
didn't have
episodes of
those
anemia?
problems. Yeah, and I think also because I think from the moment I noticed my condition to the time I did the surgery was really short.
No short.
Yes, because I hear some people, the more you take, the more the symptoms develop. and become
Or
worse.
the longer it worsens. Yeah, and throughout your recovery process, were you counseled for your mental health, or how has your mental health been ever since, like from the time of discovery until now? Is it better?
It was bad before,
Yeah.
but I think the moment I started talking about it
Yeah,
to
talking
people,
about it,
people were so supportive, and that's when I started realizing, you don't pay attention to some things until they happen to you or someone close to you. So when you start talking about it, you hear people's stories and they encourage you, and yeah,
It gets better.
it gets
yeah?
better. Those people will be like, what? Okay, you did the surgery. People still get shocked, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. So after that, you're pain-free, nothing, you're not on any medication? Are you still on
no, I
some
was on
medication?
medication just for I think 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But a lot of painkillers. But I think the 1 week that I spent at the hospital,
You got a lot of
of
medicine.
medicine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But after that, I just stayed on medication 2 weeks. I think then I was okay. Though I still used to go for checkup. And one thing my doctor advised me is every morning I would take like warm salty water and try to wipe massage the scar. Yes, so that But yeah, I was not on any medication. But the part I had one big, the one which was by the time it was
10
removed, it was
centimeters.
20 actually. 20 centimeters. I was actually looking at the reports today. It was 20.
20 centimeters.
So it was on my left side. So from time to time I feel pain on my left side, and
Yeah.
it's where the knot was tied.
Was tied.
Yes. So I feel from time to time.
Yeah,
I feel
just
pain.
some slight discomfort, but it's not as
It's not-
excruciating
no,
as
no,
it
no,
was
it's
before.
not, yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so guys, you've heard her story. Yeah, and you see, it's possible if she's already gone through it, she's fine. So it's possible you can also conquer that. And yeah, if you have like symptoms like hers, because sometimes it varies from one person to another. Someone else might have these symptoms, another person will have other symptoms. So even sometimes you can have fibroids, but you don't know, since they don't even present with symptoms until you go to see a gynecologist, and then they're like, hey, you have fibroids. Yeah, so I'd advise you, please, as you go for your regular checkup, make sure you see your gynecologist. Make sure you just ask them like to check, to do a pelvic ultrasound, so that you can be able to get that. If you have any issue, it can be sorted there and then before it proceeds to infertility.
Just to add on it, I think everyone is different. Everyone has different symptoms. Everyone, like when it comes to the method of treatment that you want, there are so many different treatments. After my surgery, I realized there were some people who were treating fibroids with herbal medicine.
Oh, herbal, okay.
Yes, so there are people who are very scared to do surgery, and I just want to tell them it helps. After surgery, your symptoms
You feel
change
better.
and you feel much better. So yeah, if you're the herbal guys, it's okay.
So if you have those herbal medicines, how do you like to read more about them, like those herbal medicines, how they work? You can share with me some of them so that I can actually explain to people like, hey, I found this
Yeah.
herbal medication, this person used it and it helped them.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're also on another treatment, because I understand some people are usually given hormones, some people are on drugs to stop bleeding. So if you're on any medication, you can kindly also just leave it in the comment section so that guys can have like a different view of what really happens, when
yeah.
someone has fibroids. Yeah, so Doc, thank you so much for sharing your journey. And guys, please be encouraged. It can be done and it is well. If you're suffering from that and you want to maybe get advice or get some more information about that, you can leave your questions in the comment section, or you can DM me on various like social media sites, then I'll be able to help you. Yeah, so thank you so much. Yeah, so I think that's it. Thank you so much, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe and share.